So today we're going to talk about legal and ethical issues presented in education. So the first thing is religion in public schools can be a huge issue. Prayer in schools prohibited for employees based on the First Amendment established clause, but students can lead a prayer as long as the teachers aren't the ones leading it. Reading the Bible is allowed for secular purposes, such as elective courses, but can't be required. Religious imagery, schools must abide by the Lemon Test and not entangle government and religion. So lectures can be permitted, but a teacher's voice can't be put into that religious conversation. Students may not use religious imagery, cross pictures of religious or patriarchs to persuade others to make religious connections. So it can't be forced upon another student. Religious freedoms, religious discrimination is illegal according to the Establishment Clause, and government can't establish official religion. So that can't, again, be forced upon a student through an administrator or a teacher. Accommodations shall be made regarding religious holidays. So I know in the past, we at Childersburg Middle have had students that didn't celebrate certain holidays. So that has to be taken into account and maybe pushed to the side if there's somebody that does not believe the same way. So freedom of expression, student rights under the First Amendment. So rights to express opinions by writing articles, petitions, protests. Students do have the ability to free speech. However, it does need to be school appropriate. Authorities can't intervene as long as these violations are not happening. If violations, school officials can resist expressions, and educators are government employees and are bound by the U.S. Bill of Rights. So we have to ensure that students do have a voice. However, it can't be offensive. It can't violate school rules. It can't be something that the school has said, this isn't something that we're going to talk about, and it can't be vulgar, things that are expressed through the school code of conduct. Search and seizure, the Fourth Amendment prohibits unreasonable searches, so there has to be reasonable suspicion, information received from a reliable source with plenty of evidence. So you can't just say, I think this student has drugs on him, but with no evidence. Personal belongings that may be searched. Any item on school property can be searched and should be by the principal, but if visible, a teacher can. So this isn't something that a teacher should just say, I'm going to search you and try to find out, if you have this. Strip searches, avoid when possible, except extreme situations, and only permissible for outer clothing. There is no warrant needed for these searches. However, strip searches for sure are definitely an intense and can be a violation of self. So we do need to be super careful with that. That's not something that really needs to happen often, and that definitely needs to be avoided. Due process, the Fifth Amendment states not to withhold life, liberty, and property without DP. So procedural decisions made are unbiased, teachers well informed of contracts and notices, and student can be expelled. Substantive ensures a valid reason for existing of school violation, protect against state, federal government, and specific terms. Vagueness test, students must understand behaviors expected of them, code of conduct of student behaviors. That needs to be super aware. I know here we go over that the first day of school so that students are aware of what is expected of them. And then the presumptive test, evidence of the misbehavior, documentation of insubordination for educators, and student behavior plans for Tier 3. And then they also need a notice. Liability in student records. This goes back to FERPA, protects confidentiality of student records. That's not something that we can just share with somebody. Protecting a student from having a label, protects the student from forms of malice, and then assurance of those with an educational interest may view student records. So student records can't just be shared with anybody that comes in and says, hey, I want to see this. They need to have a reason. And then they also need to be assured that it's for educational purposes only. Individuals with disabilities, that's our IDEA, that's our Section 504. So Individual with Disabilities Act ensures educational services, rights to accessible education for eligible students, that all students are able to get the same education. And then the 504 accommodates the mental and physical impairments that affect our students in the academic classroom. The Alabama Code, Educator Code of Ethics, that's what we agree to abide by when we decide to become a teacher, and we get that license. So professional conduct, our trustworthiness, unlawful acts, teacher-student relationships, alcohol, drug, and tobacco use of possession, public funds and property, remunerative conduct, maintenance of confidentiality, and abandonment of contracts. So that's just, making sure that teachers are following that code and being professional in all aspects of the word. All right, I hope you guys have a great day.